So today we will speak about Tchias HaMesim. We read toch wegen die Inyanim, we read wegen Tchias HaMesim. Yeah. So hopefully for the next few weeks we'll talk different pratim in connection to Tchias HaMesim.
That's good.
So we'll start with one simple shaila. What happens in Islam, a child that passes away before bar mitzvah, and then it comes by Tchias HaMesim, so the time passed that the child is 13 years from the time of his birth. So there's room to say that because it's after 13 years from when he was born, so the moment he gets up for Tchias HaMesim, he's a bar mitzvah. He's bar mitzvah already.
Like my son.
How long before the bar mitzvah did he pass away?
17 days.
Wow.
I remember he was tefillah.
Yeah, it was fun.
So the shaila is whether you have to wait now 17 days from after the Tchias HaMesim, or gleich immediately by Tchias HaMesim, enough time has passed since the time of his birth that he's right away bar mitzvah.
How is he going to look?
What?
How is he going to look?
It's exact. The neshama and the guf will be revived by Tchias HaMesim the exact same way as when the person passed away. If it's a baby that passed away, so then it's a baby that gets up with Tchias HaMesim. If it's a child, if it's an adult, if it's in... That's
Is he going to be mechuyev mitzvahs, the baby?
That's the question. So there's a Befeirisha Ha'ara from the Rebbe about this over here. Then Lekut Sichos, page 142, page 41. And anyone ever show this to you? Page 142, in Chelik Tezvav, page 142.
Did you think we'll remember?
Page 41. So here the Rebbe says that the child will not be bar mitzvah on the day of Tchias HaMesim immediately. You'll have to wait whatever amount of time is missing for his years that he lived in Olam Hazeh to become a bar mitzvah, a year, 17 days, whatever amount of time. You have to wait that amount of time after Tchias HaMesim. And the Rebbe explains it as follows. Because once the neshama goes l'mayla, there's no zman. There's no zman for the neshama. There's no zman. So the time doesn't add up. You can't combine that time with the time that the person has in Olam Hazeh. There's no zman. I'll explain. So in the note, there's no zman, says the Rebbe. No zman. When mainly you can't be mitzad of that zman, then that's what the Rebbe says in the Pnimei Sikha. Then the Rebbe is meisif another word. The Rebbe says, what says there's no zman? The Rebbe spells out clearly. There's no zman legabe chiyuv of mitzvahs. Not that there's no zman at all. There's no zman legabe chiyuv of mitzvahs. Why not? Because a person is only chayiv in a mitzvah if he's a neshama b'guf. It has to be both the neshama and the guf. So since it's an inyan which is tolui in the neshama being in the guf, so that zman that the neshama is departed from the guf, so that zman, there's the zman for the neshama, but there's no zman for the neshama in the guf. So therefore that zman cannot be combined for the chiv of mitzvahs, which is only for a person which is a neshama b'guf. So in the Ha'ara 41 here, the Rebbe says, if you go according to the opinions, there are two opinions what about mitzvahs. Why dafka 13 years old? There's one opinion that bar mitzvah 13 years old, the Rosh holds bar mitzvah 13 years old is exeris, it's a halach l'moshe misinai. It's not totally with the Indian of das. It's halach l'moshe misinai that the age 13, that's when the child becomes bar mitzvah. Yeah das, no das.
How's the Rosh creates halacha l'moshe misinai?
Huh? No, he didn't create it. The Gemara says so.
The Gemara says it.
If the Gemara says befeidish halacha l'moshe misinai, I don't think so. The Rosh is masber that this age of 13 it comes from halacha l'moshe misinai. The Rosh and Rashi.
To say it.
There's one pshat in Rashi also.
I don't see the Gemara.
Then there's other Rishonim. That say that has nothing to do with halacha l'moshe misinai. At the age of 13, that is the time that Roiv people become a bardas. So therefore the Torah was kaveh, that 13 is the age. So needless to say, if the point is that at the age of 13 you become a bardas, and the neshama departed the guf, l'mashal, when it was 10 years old, and then it comes back into the raw by Tchias HaMesim as a 10-year-old child, so it's not a bardas yet. The person is not a bardas. You have to wait 3 years. The Rebbe says, even if you say that it's Allah Moshe Misina, it's just a matter of passing that time of 13 years, and then you become bar mitzvah automatically, whether there is das, whether there isn't das, but still, the concept of time as it relates to a neshama begof, because a mitzvah is only chayiv in neshama begof, doesn't exist legabe the person when it's not in the guf, so you have to wait the time after he leaves his
Which
guf.
means that when a person has Tchias HaMesim, he's going to be in the same stage that he was when he
Yes,
died.
correct. Exactly. The same amount.
Before a baby's born, we count 40 days, let's say, that we say. So it shows there's time before when there's a neshama without a go.
Mhm.
There is a concept of 40 days. I'm just saying.
Yeah, there is a concept of zman. So
Right.
yeah, so
We're not counting
This
that
is-
for other things. We're not saying that the
Right.
person's born.
So this is the word that the Rebbe says over here. Now there is a Magen Avram. There's a Magen Avram. Magen Avram wrote a piddush on Medrash. It's called Zayis Ranon.
Very
And-
famous.
Yeah.
Very famous.
Yeah. So in his piddush on the Medrash, there's in the Medrash that talks about Moshe Rabbeinu. Moshe Rabbeinu was Lamaila. The Medrash asks, how did Moshe Rabbeinu know when he went up Lamaila 40 days after Matan Torah? How did Moshe Rabbeinu know when's day and when is night? So the Medrash answers, depends on what the Eibusha was learning. This is what the Eibusha learns by day, what the Eibusha learns at night. He was able to see if it's day or night. So in the Zayis Ranon, the Magen Avram asks, who says Moshe Rabbeinu didn't know? Maybe he didn't know. So he answers the Magen Avram, because Moshe Rabbeinu had to know when to daven. When to daven Shachris, when to daven Mincha, when to daven Ma'ariv. So he had to know when's day and when's night.
Who said he davened?
Oh, so does mashma that even when Moshe Rabbeinu went l'mayla, so there was the Indian of Zman. Even l'mayla and Ruchnis, there was the Indian of Zman. He davened Shachris, he davened Mincha, he davened Ma'ariv. So Chayre would seem like he's saying something different than what the Rebbe says, that the Neshama l'mayla, there's no Zman b'yachas to Teiro mitzvahs. But l'chayre it's
Went
not.
up with this go.
Oh, l'chayre the point is that Moshe Rabbeinu went up a gufay. Moshe Rabbeinu went up l'mayla with his guf, whatever that means. But Moshe Rabbeinu went up l'mayla with his guf,
Why
like
can't,
Rav
why
Shua
can't
ben
you,
Levi and by Eliyahu Novi.
why can't you say by like Eliyahu? Eliyahu
Yeah.
went to the goof. He's in one stage. Whenever Eliyahu goes upstairs, he goes without a goof. So he stayed. When he comes in, he's mislabish with
Slavish in a guf. There's a nitzvah of Eliyahu Novi that comes, and then there's Eliyahu Novi himself, which is in a guf. Okay.
Ich will ja Sefer, ich hoffe, es ist zu, es mit Chemis am Deutschen, also Pschim bin ich hei. Hat spaziert in Ganeden 12 Tage mit Beguf, mit allen Sachen, und in Gala gewinnen Teres, und die Wustals.
V'chayev.
Ja, ja, nicht mit Mäuse, sicher mit Hei. Ich hoffe, es der erste und der zweite, dann Chemis am Deutschen. Also ich kann sagen, ja,
Was mit Rabbi Shomelem? Rabbi Shomelem, ja, der
hätte ich kommen zurück, hätte ich kommen zurück, das ist das Gleiche nicht. Schon wenn ich sehe, er hätte gegangen in kommen. Das ist Rabbi Anosse. Er hätte können machen Kaddish und gegangen zurück. Und gemacht so mit dem Gott, der Jofi, mit Hamuda ist.
Yeah. Okay, so the mice is, as I said, the Rebbe says here that what?
Ja,
Yeah,
ja.
you're right from his kiddush. That's a kiddush. That's a big kiddush.
I think so, right?
Und er war so gelernt 20 Jahre.
Ja, ja, ja.
His family was Yaitse Kiddush. That's a big
Nicht
kiddush.
bestimmt. Und sie kommen machen einen Job.
Yeah.
Und die kommen machen Kiddish. Jetzt, nicht Rabbi Anosse macht nicht keinen Jokes.
Good. But the Rebbe is saying this word here that there's no zman for the neshama after it leaves the gov, only biyachas to Torah and mitzvahs, because Torah and mitzvahs has to be dafka neshama beguf. So this is a time where the neshama is not in the guf. So that zman is the rechetzich. It doesn't add up. It doesn't not part of the zman of the person. Person as a whole is only neshama beguf. Legab biyachas to neshama beguf. There's the zman, but not. But that doesn't mean that there's no inyan of Zman at all, beneged to a person that passes away. There's a lot of Makaitis for this, that there is an inyan of Zman beneged to after a person passes away. There's the famous, first of all, okay, but let's stop before that. There's a famous Gemara in Ksubas. The Gemara in Ksubas talks about the Shaila of Yesh Bagger Bakevera and Bagger Bakevera. It's a Lashon that brings in a lot of places where you have the din of Anaida, which someone was mizana with Anaida, and the father gets the knas. But the father only gets the knas when she's a Naira, after she becomes a Begeres, which is 6 months after the 12 years old, the father doesn't get it. So what happens if she passes away before she became a Begeres? She passed away while she was still a Naira. But now it's already 6 months later. And the peasant didn't paskin yet. Bezdin didn't paskin yet. Now, when Bezdin paskins that this person's chayiv to pay the money, it's already after she's 12 years and 6 months. She's already a begeres.
So that's not the same, because here you say that Be'emes, the father of the schus, Bezdin is just have to migale.
No, but the
So
Maisa
it's really,
is, I hear you.
Money
Oh, no, I have the Zogstab. The Maisa is, but by Knas, the chiyuv is chadish by the psak. It's not considered
Not
a
before,
mafreya.
uh-huh.
Not the psak is machadish.
Not by the mice, it's by the
Right, the psak, knas, that's like knas. It's machadish the chiyuv then. So the shaila is, do you say that even though it's already 6 months after her being a naira, but because she passed away, so she's considered to be a naira forever? Yeah, she's in the state of a naira. It doesn't change. Or no, yesh bager bakever, and now it's 6 months after she became a naira, so she's a begeres, and the father doesn't get the knat. It's a machlekes in the morning ksubis. So the feirische machlekes. So what's the pshat of this machlekes? Why is there a machlekes about this? Because the shaila is this: how does a girl become a begeres? Is it just a matter of time? If it's just a matter of time from the day she was born, so then it's that amount of time from the day she was born. Whether she is beguf, whether she's not beguf, doesn't make a difference.
So then you can
if you're
say
looking
that-
just at the Yom HaLeida, the day her Yom HaLeida is the day she was born, and then 12 years plus 6 months later, automatically she becomes a begeres. It doesn't make any difference with a guf, without a guf. Nothing has to.
So
It's
then
not.
you're going to say the same thing by a bar mitzvah.
No.
Uh-oh.
No. By a bar mitzvah. So 1 second. Let me just finish a point there. The other shitta holds becoming a begeres, just like becoming a naira. It's totally in simone haguf. It's something which physically changes in the body of the person. The same thing, 6 months later, becoming a begeres is also something that's totally in a physical change of the body. So after she passes away, that's not shaykh. So the point that you see over here is, if you are just talking about the amount of time that passed from the day of the birth, of course the concept of time continues even after a person passes away. If you're talking about something that's negeya to the guf is there's a kvura. It's not when you get to the guf, it's not shaykh the union of zman anymore. So when you talk about bar mitzvah is totally in the guf, whether the das that the person has in his brain and his intellect and his understanding, which is an Indian that's totally in the guf, or you're talking even if it's halacha l'moshe misinai, but it's still kiyum mitzvahs, which is what bar mitzvah is about, is only shaykh to a neshama beguf. So therefore you can't, by a bar mitzvah v'achal kulam, you can't be mitzad of this man when he passes away. By the union of a begeres, because a begeres is this two tzdadim, whether it's totally just in the amount of time that passed from the day of his birth, or it's totally in a shinu in the guf. That's why there's a machlekes about it. So that's why we're talking that there's a concept of a yard site. The day that the neshama passes away, that's something that's every year. There's a yard site. The zman matters. The day, because the yard site, you're not commemorating anything about the guf. You're commemorating something about the neshama. This is the day that the neshama went lamaila. There's an aliyah that the neshama had on this day. And every year when that day comes back, the neshama has an additional aliyah. So the yard site is commemorating something in connection to the neshama, not a connection to the guf. The same thing we know by us, that we celebrate even the Yom Haledes of a person after the neshama passes away, after the person passes away. There's a lot of places.
By stam people or
Yes, even by stam people, even by kamuvim, by the rabbeim, the Indian of Yom Haledes is a bigger Indian, because the Yeridus, again, what are you really celebrating by a birthday? You're celebrating the birth of the guf. Yes, while the person is alive, you celebrate a birthday. You're also celebrating the guf that became a year older. But the emes celebration of a birthday is the day that the neshama came down. Just like by a yard site, it's celebrating the day that the neshama had an aliyah. This is the day that the neshama began its mission in this world. The Yeridus neshama lamata. So the Yeridus neshama lamata is an occasion that you celebrate even after the neshama leaves this world.
So maybe the whole concept of L'mayla Mezman is only shaykh by the Rebishter, nothing else.
Mm-hmm.
The concept of L'mayla Mezman is only shaykh by the Rebishter, not not by anything which they get to Nivroin, even down in Shabbos.
Well, when you're talking about
That's what comes out.
Lamaila and Gan Eden, there's no Zman. Lamaila, Gan Eden is a place which is higher than Zman.
Yeah, but
There's
the Neshama is
a,
waiting for that Yotzei, the Yotzei, she's going to go higher in a level. What is she waiting? What is she waiting? What is the
In
Neshama
other words, the
waiting?
Neshama is in a place which is
It's getting
Lamaila and
impact.
Zman.
But it's still getting
If it's
impacted
the
by
Lamalim
Zman.
Nazman, what is he waiting for to become
He's
the
saying
day
it's
of the
getting
Yotzei?
impacted by Zman.
I hear you.
So obviously
Okay.
it's only by the Rebbeinu Shalom.
I wouldn't say that. But,
Why are you saying that Gan Eden is higher than Zman?
Hmm? Because I was just going to mention, because I'm not 100% sure the source of this, but I think it's a W Dua that Cheshbon, when you get to when Yitzchak gave birth to Yaakov and Esav. So according to one opinion, even though in the pasuk it says that he gave birth to them when he was 60 years old, the MS he gave birth to them when he was 62 years old. Because if not, it doesn't. If you're not going to say that, it doesn't stem with the cheshbon that it says later that Esav was Yotzal l'tar b'sra when he was 15 when Avram passed away. The Chayr is Yotzal l'tar b'sra when he was 13. Okay, I'm not going to talk cheshbon now, but there's one opinion that the MS he gave birth when he was 62. It says in the pasuk he gave birth when he was 60. So the answer is because after Kedah, Yitzchak was in Gan Eden for 2 years, waiting for Rivka to be 3 years old. And those 2 years that he was in Gan Eden, does not count in his age. Not count in his age, the son.
Okay.
So you see that in Gan Eden, when you're in Gan Eden, there's not continue from Zman, it's not shaykh there.
No.
Huh?
He wasn't in.
It was not the
It
Gash.
wasn't in his guf.
He wasn't in the
It's
Gulf
not
for
the
those 2
Gulf,
years.
it's not
Saying
the
that
Gulf.
the Indian Zman is shaykh there, but he wasn't
It
in
has
his
to be
guf,
shaykh.
so we don't include it in
In
the
the age of his body.
in the age of his body.
Right, we're not
And the
including-
pasuk is talking about the age of his body.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, Chet. I hear what you're saying.
Adam Rishon was first in Gan Eden, right?
Yes, and
But
there's
the
in Zman.
Shabbos-
And Shabbos was
Yeah, you're
coming.
right. I hear you. So
There's a different
Chet,
type of
yeah,
Gan Eden.
okay.
What?
What?
That's a different type of Gan Eden.
Yeah,
from
what,
normal speak Gan Eden.
That's
Right.
a Gash Mystic Gan
It was a
Eden.
Gash Mystic Gan Eden. So
That's a Gan Eden here. There is a Gan Eden on this earth.
some sort of Gash Mystic place.
Yeah. Okay, so let's move up to another point here, which is we have the premise over here that after a person passes away, his age, time still matters. Gabi birthday, the Gabi yahrzeit, only the bar mitzvah we know not. But let's talk about other things.
So there's aliens to celebrate your lettuce like a parent.
Yes, absolutely.
You're celebrating.
You see it done? I
So when
never,
you're celebrating what?
I've never seen it done.
Yeah.
It's usually-
I have.
party.
I have. I mean, it's
What is
not.
it?
What?
What do you do?
No, you don't. Nobody celebrates
Zag
parents.
al-Chaim.
Nobody celebrates parents.
But there's no reason why not. Du bist nur da, wie bald dein Tat ist abgekommen in der Welt, auf der und der Tag. What are you celebrating?
Yeah, but
You're
people
celebrating
do
the
it.
day that he began his shlichus in this world. So when you talk about the Rabbeim's Yom HaLedes, Chayel, Chav Cheshvan, you're celebrating the day that this Rebbe began his mission, his shlichus in the world,
Rabbis are
which
not
is in your
following.
nitzchi, and it's a much greater thing. But for you, for your father, for your family,
But
for
do
yourself,
people do it?
this
I'm
is the day.
asking, You've seen people do this?
Yeah.
What's the
I-
makor? What's the sauce on this? Is you saying
what?
it and your feelings?
No, it's a science steht klar.
Avu steht es.
What? That you should celebrate Yom HaLedes after a person passes away?
Yeah.
Steht.
You got your research, Rabbi Oster.
Okay. Okay, so let's take another thing. There's a halacha called Erechim. Yeah? Erechim. Parshas B'chokaisai, there's a Masechta called Erechim. By Erechim, the age is the only thing that you look at the value.
Right.
The
The
Rebbe
age.
says regarding Tillim, regarding saying capital Tillim on somebody's Yom HaLedes.
Yes.
It continues growing, and the Rebbe gives a whole few letters that
Well, the
continue saying
Rebbe
Tillim,
says to continue saying the capital of the Friedrich Rebbe.
which shows the idea that
But the Rebbe is different.
But that's a ruchnis the Kenyanim. It's not a gashmis the Kenyan. I don't know.
that
Okay.
the age thing, the age is continuing.
Erechim. So when you get to Erechim, it's
Right.
where the age matters.
Doesn't matter
So
if you're a Gibber or a week.
what happens if a person says that the erech of this person that passed away, which is when he passed away, he was 80 years old. It's the day he passed away. Now, sorry, let's do another example because
It's 59.
yeah, we gotta go younger.
Peaks at 60.
Right, it peaks at 60, right? So I have to go younger. When he passed away, he was 40, and today it's 20 years after he passed away. And I say, I'm giving the erech of this person, and now If I look from the day that he was born, he's 60 years old. 60 years old. So what do you look at the erech over here?
You need a Hamad, you need a Hamad Bedin. It needs to be.
Oh, so the Meister says, there's
Maybe
a
zero,
there's
if
a,
he's
in
not
the
alive.
Teres Kainim, there's the Teres Kainim dashes v'hamidoy akayin. Because it says v'hamidoy, it's only a person that's alive, and if not, if you say the erech of this person that's not alive, it's a garnish because he's not alive.
Right.
What do you see here? Without this pasuk that it says v'hamidoy, there would have been an inyan of erechin, even for a person that passes away, and that the zman after he passed away would maybe be mitzdaref to the age, maybe. So that Mefarshim discussed that. What's the pshat in this miyut of the Teres Kainim? Does it mean that you would have to pay the age that he was on the day he passed away? That's when it peaks out for erechin, because erechin is the guf. Erechin is connected to the guf. But on the other hand, you see it's not connected to the guf because it's just a number of years. Whether a person is a gibor or he's a cholosh, doesn't matter. If it goes according to the age, regardless of how strong or so you see it's not telling the value of his guf. So that's the suffix of it when you get to erechim. Is it an Indian that connected to the guf or just the time? If it's just the time, so then it shouldn't make a difference if he's alive or not. That's the din of erechim. Another example, interesting example, is not only when you get to a human being. We're going to get to Korban Pesach, next week's parasha. It says a Korban Pesach has to be, the behemoth has to be a Ben Shana. So the Gemara in Zvachim says a very interesting thing. When it comes to the din that the Korban has to be a Ben Shana, so usually by a person, the din of age, there's no hours, doesn't matter. Shois don't matter, doesn't matter. It's the day. But the Gemara says by Kotchim, by Karbonis, Shois, meinen Shois bekotchim. The hour matters. So if you know that the behemoth was born on a specific day, in a specific hour, the Gemara discusses what happens if the shechita was before it was a year old. The zrike was after it became a year old.
The Zrika is
So-
Zrika carbon, no?
Okay, so that's the Shitz Gemara discusses this. So what do you see over here? That the Zman of Ben Shana, when you get to the behemoth, continues even after the behemoth was shechted. Even after the behemoth was shechted, the time continues. Why? Because over here, Kanira, the Zman of a year old for the behemoth is not totally in the guf, that the guf has to become bigger, the guf grows a certain age. Nothing to do with the guf. Has to do with the neshama. With the zman. I mean, it's about neshama by behemoth, but has to do with the time that the behemoth came into the world, whatever it is. Another two details, another two examples. Mila. If a child passed away, before the bris Mila, before 8 days old, and then after Tchiyas HaMesim, so what happens? You have to wait the amount of the few days that you would have to wait for the Mila, or the child, you can do the bris Mila right away if the time passed after the child passed away. So the answer is, it's totally what the reason is we b'chlal wait 8 days for Mila. There's the Gemara in Nida that says the reason why you wait 8 days is because the tumah of a isha after Leda Zohar is a week. So the Gemara says, Shalayir kulam smeichim v'ave v'ima yatzevim. That the mother is still the tumas Leda, so she's still otzev. So therefore we wait the time that the mother should be tahira. So if that's the reason, so after Tchiyas HaMesim, so the time passed. The bris should have been done the day the baby's born. You just want the mother not to be at seva, so you can do the bris the moment
That's
the
the
Tchiyas HaMesim
reason why
happens.
there's a mitzvah of Yom HaShmini.
That's what it's mashma the Gemara Nida. Yeah, but then there's the famous Moira Nevuchim. The Rambam says in Moira Nevuchim that the reason you wait 8 days is because the body of the child is too weak to do a bris right in the beginning. So therefore you wait 8 days. So if the Tchiyas HaMesim of the baby will be in the same matzav as when the baby passed away, so then you're gonna have to wait the
Same
amount of
matzah
time.
doesn't mean weak. The baby's not going to be
Same-
sick when the baby...
Well, not sick. It's only with sickness. It has to do with the body when it comes into the world. The immune system didn't develop yet. Whatever it is, it's not.
If somebody has an undeveloped immune system when Mashiach
Yeah.
comes, he's not going to have that issue.
This is not an issue. This is like the nose is small, the immune system is small. It's not.
I thought they make a bris, he is dead, the baby. In Israel, the guy got killed, they made him a bris, they called him a miyet. What do you mean? So sure make a bris. The name it, the name it.
Okay.
Yeah, the name after a Malach. That's what I heard.
Amir.
Kippers dam.
Amir.
Kippers dam. If the
But they make good
Kafas dam.
breeds.
Yeah, I think so.
Right, you're gonna have to go out Tafas Dam this later because you can't be Mekayim the mitzvah
do it?
on a Guf Mace.
But they do it, the fact is they do it.
Okay, let's finish off with one more thing. Pidyon
It's
Ben.
not a Yom HaShmini, it's whenever.
Pidyon
They make
Ben.
that, yeah.
How about Pidyon Ben? If the child passes away before 30 days and then the child is a mason. Pidyon Ben, do you have to wait or not?
Do you
So
have to do a
here-
opinion event?
Yeah, you don't
Ah,
feel pity.
Do you have to do a opinion event?
That's
No,
the
it's not
Shaila.
here.
That is the Shaila. So number one, Shaila is do you have to do a Pidyon Ben? Because the child was a nafel. So the Peterechem, the child that was born, was a nafel. So
Now
the
we-
Chiyas HaMesim is a new thing. That's a chikir b'fnei atzma, whether you become chayiv in Pidyon Ben. But if you're chayiv in Pidyon Ben, would you have to wait or not? So this is a famous machlokes Rashi and Taisus. Rashi holds the whole thing of 30 days is because you have to wait to know that it's not a nafel. You have to wait to find out that the child is be'emes chayiv, not a nafel. Yeah, bar kayom. But Taisus says no. Taisus brings a raya from the Gemara that the din that you have to wait 30 days is exeris hakosov. It has nothing to do with the bar kayom. And the raya Taisus brings is a very geshmak raya because what happens if a person did pidyon ben before 30 days, and then the child became 30 days old? Now in this battle that the child was a bar kayom, does the pidyon ben that you did before 30 days count or not?
Why do you do
The answer is it doesn't. Why not? Zaktaisis is a raya that 30 days is not just to know that the child is a bar kayama, but it's exeris hakosu. So you need this amount of 30 days.